you, this Gulf crisis now in its second week. We don't seem to be seeing any type of diplomatic resolution between Qatar and its Saudi-led bloc here. If anything, we've seen tensions continue to rise. What's the chance that this could actually continue to escalate into some type of energy crisis?
I think for now it's relatively small. When we look at Qatar, in terms of the oil market, they're really minnows, right? It's only about 1% of global production. And that's where we get the most attention, and people are focused around potential on tensions with OPEC. And but on the gas market, as you pointed out earlier, I mean, Qatar is huge. I mean, they're the largest LNG exporter in the world. They have sort of complicated relationships at times with their various buyers, and that's really where you could see some. Disruption's a strong word, because so far it's really just been the logistics have been impacted in the sense that they have to move some cargoes to sort of strange locations. Probably the biggest risk, really, I think, for the Qataris going forward is that the buyers will start to take a closer look at the contracts that they will sign going forward and sort of say, okay, they've been very reliable in the past and been a very good supplier, but they've been tough with us. And with this sort of, with this coming up and this in the background, as we move forward, should we look at other options, at least at the margin, for some of our volumes?
Yeah, I've already seen some of that coming out of Japan. But, Jeff, there still seems to be a bit of confusion on how wide-ranging these shipping bans are. You know, is this just a Qatari-owned restriction or flagged vessels, or is this more of a general ban here? You know, all ships that have called or plan to call to Qatar. At the end of the day, who ends up being hurt the most by this in the UAE? Is it Qatar, or could it also be the Saudis?
Well, the Saudis don't get any gas from the Qataris, right? So if you're focusing on the gas market, what's been affected so far is deliveries into the UAE have been affected. That's about 1.5 million tons out of the Qataris' 77 million tons. They've also, the biggest buyer in that area, anyway, is Egypt. And at this point, the regulations or the restrictions have been around Qatari flagged vessels going into Egypt, and they have had some cargoes go in that were from Qatar, but were on different flagged vessels. At the same time, the Qataris have decided with to move a few of their cargoes around the Cape rather than going through the canal. So, and they weren't restricted anyway. It looks like they just decided to do that. So it's definitely having a disruption on logistics. I mean, you're 100% right there. We're seeing cargoes, coming from the U.S. that would have gone into Kuwait, for example, getting diverted to replace cargoes and to go into Dubai. Logistics, big-time impact around that part of the world. But really, we don't. It hasn't had a huge impact on spot prices at this point. People are talking about it a lot, but in terms of the short-term impact of the market, I mean, really, the short-term impact on the market, it's not really there yet. It's just, when we look at the billion, all these big gas projects cost billions and billions of dollars, and there's a lot of people angling to be developing the next big project. And the Qataris also have a lot of volumes that are all coming off contract as we get into the early 20s.